Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Alan Migliorini.
Here.
Jen McCark.
Here.
I don't have any sound on my end, so I don't know if you have yours muted.
Go ahead.
You good?
I think we're
I
ready.
can hear you. I can hear you now. Thanks.
So it started with lift station 3, then it went on to lift station 2, then lift station 6, all went into high well alarms. And it got to the point where lift station 2 had basically it reached its max capacity and started to overflow. So the next day until about 2 a.m. it finally subsided enough to where all the stations returned back to normal operating conditions. So Shem reached out to me, reached out to you. Either way, we talked to one another. Yeah, and we had filed a report with IDEM, and we got that taken care of. We met with Ray and Chad from the mill, Shem and Jeanette were there as well, along with Ray and Jack. We met yesterday to try to drum up a procedure of some sort to show that we're doing every effort to cause this from happening again. So I'm going to let Shem take over from here because he's going to talk more about that stuff.
I guess because of the overflow that happened in lift station number 2, we had to report it to item and we had to estimate the amount that was actually leaving the lift station, which the estimate was actually between 9 o'clock and 2 o'clock in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Just by that report itself or that incident, we have to find where is this coming from. And in order to do that, there's a study called ion or infiltration.
Okay.
And that study basically it will need to show any type of connection or legal connection from a catch basin or from a sump pump or from multiple sump pumps or a construction site or a cap or a sanitary line that it's open. So that study will show that, or at least will narrow down the location for that, the inflow that was coming into the system during the rain event. Unfortunately, we don't know exactly where the segment of where it's coming from, but at least there is some indication that it's lift station number 3, it overflowed first, and then lift station number 6, I believe, and number 5, they were high alarm as well.
Okay.
So those 3 lift stations, anything that is tributary to those lift stations will need to be checked, just to make sure that no connection or no open pipe that is coming into the sanitary sewer during a rain event.
Okay.
Unfortunately, that's not cheap, so renting meters with different size of pipes and leaving those meters until it rains or until a rain event happens. And you don't hope for flooding event, but in this case, you want to see it happen. So once we install those meters, we have to leave them probably for a couple or 3 rain events, that is high rain events.
Okay.
So we don't know what's gonna happen with the rain, so.
Right.
And they have to move too as well, right? We get, until we narrow down.
The idea actually is to, kind of, lift station tributary system, meter first. If we meter the entire system, that's very expensive.
Right.
It becomes very, very, expensive to monitor, expensive to rent. So we are thinking to kind of locate, lift station number 3 and then move them to lift station number 5 or 6, and so forth until we find where it's coming from during the rain event. So this happened last week, so it's rapid removing, but it needs to be done as soon as possible. The report will be probably sent to item after we find out where it's coming from and disconnect the problem or fix the problem.
So, do we have a cost, like, do we have a quote on what this?
We don't yet, and that's exactly why I'm here to ask for authorization to go for
Okay.
quotes. The quote will be probably, there's a few companies that do rental for meters, so not many of them in the entire state actually.
And this is something we have to do because of the,
We have to eliminate any
right.
inflow. The reason being,
We've had rain since then and it didn't overflow, right?
it did not, but it's creating a high alarm.
Did we still get alarm calls, like, when it rained last?
No, our last rain we did. The last high alarm, what we got was from
This situation?
the situation on Bay. So everything flowed like it should on our last rain event, which was not a very heavy rain. We didn't get, what I just calculated, 8 inches of rain in 8 hours. So, which is what I calculated from the National Weather Service. So,
I feel like.
No.
I think it was a lot more, but
No, that's not.
that's
No.
what I ended up from what they got. So what was the actual,
Well, I went to the USGS website
uh,
and the Hobart, station for that day on the 8th at 1.72 inches. So,
That was like 2 hours, I think, or 3 hours.
well, I can look it up right now, and then I can tell you what the last rain event probably was like half an inch, so I could. And I there might be a Porter County, but USGS doesn't have Porter County, so I went to the closest one. So,
okay, no, I get that, I appreciate it. So all the thing I can only pull up was from, National Weather Service and what totals they had for our area, and they had it on I say 5 minutes, but they had it in so many intervals, and I just added them all up from starting at, so the heavy rain started about 9, 10 o'clock that day, and it was on and off. It was heavy rain for like, I don't know, half hour or so, and then it was light rain, and then it was heavy rain again, and so forth. But the real heavy rain didn't happen until about 3, 4 o'clock that afternoon, because I didn't get caught in that. And then that's when I started getting, and then from 4 o'clock until 6 o'clock is when I started getting the alarms. And then and it did subside, or at least it didn't stop raining until 2 o'clock that next morning.
I mean, it was still a heavy rain
So-
event, I'm just saying, I don't think 8 inches cumulative is the number.
Okay.
So, I'll, at another time, I'll show you where I got that info, and
Okay.
we'll compare, how about that?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
no, that's fine, that'd be great.
So either way, there is inflow coming into the system.
Right.
And that should not be the case because it's creating a problem at the plant. And that should not be the case. I mean, they shouldn't, usually, well, we are a CSO, or what they call us a separated community. That means that there's no storm system going into our sanitary system. So when that happens, that means that there is a CSI, or there is a combined sewer somewhere,
Somewhere's
right?
connecting. Yeah.
And that needs to be disconnected because we are not a combined system
Right.
community.
Okay.
And our permit does not allow that. And at the wastewater treatment plant, they cannot treat that much amount, and they have to probably buy half. But Greg probably will talk about that maybe more, but the treatment itself, or the capacity for the treatment cannot exceed whatever the permitted treatment that they optimize.
Okay.
I had toured the Haglund Road, which is where 3 is at, lift station 3. That area was flooded the worst I've ever seen. And the reason, because of stormwater, we just did the scoping of all the storm sewers on down Haglund and got the report back on that. There wasn't many issues. But as Shem and both of them are saying, there's definitely an influx of water coming from, because it was only at the rain event that we got the high flow. So it's definitely somehow rainwater is getting into our sanitary sewer system. We need to figure that out.
Yeah.
And I think it's somewhere along there, and by at least presenting is trying to get a way of monitoring that and scoping that to find out where it's coming from. I don't think how, even if 7 or 8 sump pumps were going on into the sanitary sewer system, would not raise that up, because that would have been, they actually are gonna be pumping out more. If somebody's using their gutters and downspouts, that means every rain event we have it. This was only a major rain event that we had, and caused that whole one side of Haglund to flood. And that exactly at the same time as when the sewer system, or the sanitary sewer system had the issue. So there's definitely something going on along that roadway. And the only way to really find this out is what he's trying to present.
Right.
So,
So our recommendation, I guess, for now, at least that's the first phase, if you wanna call it the first phase,
Yeah.
we're gonna try to find it as fast as we can. And hopefully we find it and we fix it, and now there's no issues. And not even go to the second issue if we can calculate that that's the same amount that was coming in. So I would say not to exceed a number, once we exceed the goals, and allow us to actually move forward and set those meters and lift station number 3 first, or the tributary to lift station number 3. And I think the maximum that we can go is 50,000.
Oh, you mean without bidding?
Without quoting,
Oh.
because we need the,
Right.
yeah.
I don't know that he thought that it was that much, maybe just talking about the limits.
No, it's a limit of bidding, so I don't want to
Oh, okay.
exceed the
Okay.
Indiana code.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't mean that's the cost.
Oh, like
I have no idea.
I heard 50,000. I'm like,
No.
I don't know where we're gonna find that money. I don't know. Okay.
No, I don't mean that, I don't know, it might cost that.
Okay.
So just be prepared, I guess, that
Yeah.
there is a cost. And it's a cumulative cost, so, and it's a rental equipment,
Mhm.
so, yeah, I mean, unfortunately,
I mean, if it's something that we have to do because of the overflow,
that's good.
so, so I guess I'd say get quotes, and then do we wait then till the next meeting? Or is this something?
I would prefer that we actually give authorization up to 50,000,
Okay,
and that is the limit.
okay,
That will allow us to install it, I hope, within the next couple of weeks, or at least get the ball rolling with any of those companies, because I'm hoping that we can find them.
so you'll need a motion not to exceed 50,000.
Right, and I'll send a quote to the president to you
Okay.
before we authorize it, or authorize the president to sign those quotes, I guess, and that's another. But we can cap, I guess, before, without going to bidding,
We can cap it at,
cap it at 50,000, even though it's an emergency issue,
right,
so it needs to happen, unfortunately.
I'll make a motion to go out for bids not to exceed 50,000. Hopefully it's not that high. We're nowhere near it, but yeah, you never know.
okay. Second it. Roll call?
Alan Migliorini,
Yes.
Jennifer McCarg,
Yes.
I'll. So
And then just let us know, yeah.
I will. It's unfortunate, but,
No.
it's a necessity. And we have to report that back.
Okay.
So whatever I'll find,
Okay. And I'm sure this will solve other problems, the increase in flow that they get every once in a while, I don't know, maybe that's.
We talked about that, it was brief, but there was a conversation about that, to see when like I said, when they got the heavy flow earlier in February,
Mhm.
our lift stations were performing just like they're supposed to.
Yeah.
There was not an increase in flow in those at that point in time. So where does that influx of flow coming from?
Right,
So maybe by chance, then we can probably get that answer as well.
right,
But it's something that's past lift station 2.
Mhm.
So
yeah,
So comment / question. When we had this problem before, we went out and did pump down tests.
Yeah.
It was on January 8th. It's a nice, wonderful winter day. Yes. And now, we did, I think, 3 lift stations, right? And we talked about that in the meeting, right? So we did lift station 1, 2, and 5. But we didn't do the others. Because at the time, we were thinking, well, these are the ones that are directly contributing.
Mhm.
So if we're talking about lift station 3 had a high water alarm, would it be beneficial to, and I think one of them was moving slowly, and it was kind of hard to get an accurate read, and that's the one. I understand the lift station number 1 isn't the problem, because it's so isolated, but it wouldn't hurt to check the 2 we already did again. So the question is this a good time to go out and do those pump down tests that we didn't do the first time around, and then retest the 2? So if that is so, then I don't know if you need to authorize us to do that.
well, the authorization, I'm sorry, maybe I probably should have been more general, I guess, on the authorization is to actually study the entire system inflow.
Yeah.
What that equate to metering. It's possible to have a smoke test. There's a lot of testing, pressure test for the force main. So we will test just about every possible test to figure out where it's coming from and eliminate that. That includes, of course, as Jeanette alluded to the pump down test, to all the tributary pump station that is coming into it. And that's an easy test. I mean, that doesn't take us, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes per lift station that we go around, and maybe a little bit more than the pump station, yeah. So my point, I guess, that the authorization is to actually check the entire system to make sure that we need to figure out where it's coming from by multiple testing and by multiple meters and different method even of testing. Yeah, so my apology, but the metering is a rental equipment, and that's what I need the authorization for, to get quotes for. But otherwise, the other stuff is actually in-house.
Okay.
So we can actually do the pump down test ourselves, with the exception of the smoke test.
So do you want us to add that to the, or just,
My consensus, I guess, you know.
I'm okay with-
Yeah,
I think we're okay with checking everything.
sounds good.
Uh,
Thank you.
You're welcome, thank you.
Thank you.
Try to add more work to your
Yeah,
plate.
that's my job.
Okay.
I'm sorry that happened though to the town, and that's
Yeah, I know.
very unfortunate.
I know, yeah,
It does happen. So it's a common thing for other communities as well.
I mean, I've heard, I've heard about it in the past, and it actually happened. Yeah. All right, sanitary report.
Well, okay. We just got done this morning getting the lines on, Salt Creek Road between between Oakport Road and Highway 20. We jetted a line there, that was looking pretty, shaky, and, it's all cleaned out. We jetted, Carroll Street and North Salt Creek Road. On that, something happened when the installation of that, there was a belly on that pipe, so we annually will clean that just to keep it clear of all that. And we cleaned out the air releases that got gray water that was put into them when we did the cleaning there. So that's been completed today. So I would like to go ahead and, since we completed today, I'd like to go ahead and go ahead and get them paid. So the original quote that they gave us, which I believe was authorized, yeah, it was authorized, it was for 2,100 plus the hose, and then we took off the winterizing because there was nothing to winterize. So, yeah, so I'd like to go ahead and authorize them to go ahead and get them paid so that they're done. So unfortunately, we couldn't get it all done in one day, and it went into two, but it wasn't on our issue. According to Bob from Legal Services, he wasn't gonna charge us for the day, so it's just an 8-hour job, so we're charging us for it. It's just for the 8 hours. So that's done. Motor starters will be put in tomorrow. So the motor, to complete the recommendations on the inspections that we got from Gas Florida, they recommended motor starters get replaced in the station 5. They were getting kind of worn down. And during that heavy rain event, I was having trouble with the motor starter in the station 2. So I told John from Superior Services to go ahead and replace that one as well. So those will be put in tomorrow. I did a manhole inspection of Cornell's Landing in the phase 2 area. I had a number of manholes that have been damaged and are showing signs of being hit by snowplows. So I'll complete that report, I guess you wouldn't say, probably on Friday, get that to Jack, he requested. So those are the manholes that never, the section of road that never got the top put on. Yeah, that's all right. So, number 2 lift station.
Wait, hold on, is the town's plowing phase 2?
Yes.
Cause I know like before, our
Yeah.
phase got plowed, Tom did it,
Yeah.
the town went up
The town
plowing,
wouldn't touch it until the
Until-
final coat of asphalt was on.
right,
Oh, we
So I didn't
I don't
realize the
think-
town was plowing back
I
then.
don't think the town should be plowing phase 2.
We've been plowing phase 2 since I've been plowing snow for the town in Burns Harbor, so that's 3 years now.
That's actually come up because I've actually pursued that because I've got reports from him and reports from Brandon on damages that have happened to the plows and damages that have happened to the sewer covers in phase 2 from when they've been plowing these streets.
Well, we
Because
need
they're
to
not
look
being-
into that, cause then phase 2 should probably be Tom's responsibility until the final coat is on. And instead of causing damage to our vehicles,
Yeah, I've got to investigate that because it's
Tom
needing-
plowed phase 1 for years before we finally got a top coat to have the,
So that's fine, if we
Yeah.
can put that on him, that's fine, but right now,
yeah,
our town's plows have been plowing that for the last 2 years or 3 years that I know.
well, we have a few months to look into it before snow comes.
Yeah.
So, well, maybe or tomorrow. Now that I said something,
Yeah.
sorry. Okay, I guess I would look into that, maybe that's something that goes back on Tom.
Because phase 2 isn't done, right?
No,
No,
I didn't think so.
but there's 5 homes, and what I found out so far, there's 5 homes that are still, or vacant properties. And until those are completely finished, then we can really push them. But again, it's been 3 years since there's been any action going on in that phase 2. So at this point, either they get paved to a point, because that was left because they wanted to do that for the construction.
Yeah.
But there's streets that can be paved that have nothing to do with the construction if phase 3 ever is gonna happen, but I have a feeling he isn't gonna do a phase 3 for a while yet, but I don't know that, that's the question, the big question. But if there's something in writing in our minutes that show
I
who's
don't-
responsible for that.
we'd have to go back and look in history, I just know from when I moved in there, that we had to wait for Tom to plow before the town would not plow us.
Right.
Because our roads weren't finished.
And I have a question. I do not recall, did we accept those sanitary sewers for phase two? Cause if not,
That's
shouldn't he be, if there's leaks or damage, he's gonna have to replace them.
Well, he's gonna have to replace them either way before the acceptance.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
So we might not even been accepted yet. If
I
that-
don't
I don't remember either.
I just, you know.
No, but even if we accepted the sanitary sewer and they are damaged because of lack of completion of the
Okay.
entire subdivision of the entire infrastructure, he will replace them.
Okay.
So the damage is the damage.
Right,
We didn't tell him not to pay.
right. I guess something we need to look into more. Sorry. to-
No, I'm not quite sure about the plow, though, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know who pays for the plow.
And on the number 2 lift station, the RTU went down on Thursday. So the RTU is basically not the brain, but something that goes to the brain. It actually does the reporting for the flows. So Thursday at 11 was the last recorded event for daily flows for number 2. When I got back in the office on Tuesday and noticed I had been missing 4 days worth of data, I immediately got on the phone to Gas Florida, and they sent a guy out and said, well, it's working, you should be good. It's not working. And the guy came out today, he doesn't have the adapter, so I'll have a guy out tomorrow to get that RTU working correctly, so we can start getting that flows again. So we're gonna be missing 6 days worth of readings from lift station 2.
Okay.
So, so that's gonna be a thing, I didn't even, it's something we needed, and that's why I didn't ask for authorization, like, I need this information today, so they're gonna get on the horn, so, or they're gonna get out here and get it done. And, lastly, I have is, a month ago, I sent in our 4-gas meter for calibration. Sanitation department did have an account through Sensit. So I guess in the previous, that we built through the fire department, they have our meter calibrated. Since that has been separated, it was just a piece of paper that needed to be filled out. So we started doing that through the sanitation department. So right now I can't do any confined spaces until I have a calibrated meter. I've sent that up the chain and I don't know what the status is. Can we find out if we can get that paperwork filled out and sent back into Sensit?
Yes. Who did you send it to?
I sent it to Nicole and then Nicole forwarded it to Jane. Because there was information on there that Jane was not, or Nicole was not familiar with.
I think you can just, were we on that email?
No, you weren't on that email. I'm sorry. I just sent it to Nicole first. And it's just a repeated ask. It didn't think of something I had to involve you in just yet, but I guess now I need to.
That's fine. Just, I would send it again, put me in it, again, asking for an update.
All right,
And then and you can send it to Nicole and Jane,
okay,
everybody, all of us.
all righty. So other than that, that is all I have for that. It is gonna be kind of April soon, and I want to start, getting the cleaning for the lift stations done. There's gonna be the, that's not annual, biannual, quarterly cleaning of the lift stations done. That's where we go out with legal service and actually, take them down, get all the sludge off the bottom, and pressure wash the whole pits and everything else. I can start reading quotes on that. So, oh, and thank you, it reminded me. So before you, I presented 2 quotes. Remember, they came out and did our air releases, and 2 were not working, lift station 6. So I got a quote from Gas Florida and a quote from Superior Pumping to get those replaced and to repair the old ones, so we have them on the shelf in case something else were to go wrong. So, up to your authorization and who you wanna go with. So, I believe, Superior came in at, Gas Florida came in at $4,783. And Superior came in at $2,664.50. Which way do you wanna go?
Same exact parts, like,
It should be.
do you know why there's such a huge difference, like?
No.
Maybe sort of $2,000 difference.
You're absolutely right, and I think the quotes before, when I gave you one, there was a very significant, like over $1,000.
Yeah, I know.
Between the twos.
I just don't understand.
I think gas photo was the cheaper one that time.
It was,
Yeah.
gas load was cheap, as in fact, it was call box.
Yeah.
It
Yeah, it was
a
a
call
box, yeah.
Yeah, and gas load did come cheap, I don't know, I try not to dwell in how they do business.
Okay.
So,
Make a motion to go Superior Pumping Services for the 2 air release valves.
I will second that. Roll call?
Alan Migliarini,
Yes.
Jennifer McCark.
Yes.
so, just to add, this is not something you're gonna see in everyday report, but just to add to that heavy rain event, since we do our pump readings on Monday and end up on Friday, we will not see the pump hours of which took place from Friday to Monday. You don't see that, because we report on Monday and we end on Friday for that. But just out of the sake of argument, during the rain event, I had over 24 hours of pump time on lift stations 6 and lift station 2. So they ran the whole, basically a long time to get caught up, so just FYI. So normally our pump hours between 6 hours and 11 hours for the week. So in 4 days, they ran over 24 hours. So there was they were running, just FYI.
Okay. All right. Anything else? That's it.
Jen, do you want to make a motion for the jetting of the lines, the authorized to get that paid? Do we have to do that?
I don't think we
You don't have to do anything?
need to, because there's an account, like we have,
Okay, he just made a comment about authorizing it to pay, so I just wanted to make sure.
all you have to do is submit the
Okay.
bill.
Cool.
Give it to Nicole, or flow PO.
Okay,
sign
Fill
PO.
out, yeah.
perfect. Okay.
Right. It's on.
Yep. Well, I guess I'll start with just our normal stuff. So we had all the submittals for the paperwork in January to IDEM done. And then as far as the maintenance items at the wastewater treatment plant, they finished the sanitary auger in the influent of the plant that was replaced. So we have a new auger, which is screening all the influent material from what comes from you guys and what comes from our plant. And that was pretty much it for the normal stuff, but I'll kind of touch on what Adam and Shem already kind of explained to you guys. With the overflow bypass, I think the way they're approaching the problem is definitely exactly what we would do. So I think as far as, the fact that we're heading into the rain season, hopefully we won't have any more issues and we won't have that significant amount of rainfall in the short period of time. But if it does happen again, at least you can kind of show IDEM that you're working towards a solution, especially since you approved the motion tonight to kind of put the meters in and do some of the other investigation into the problem. So I think that's step one. And, we met yesterday and Chad and I both felt it was a pretty productive meeting, and I think we got a lot accomplished. We kind of set up a communication chain between Adam and Chad and I. If we do have another event, they're going to reach out to us and communicate with us. And the same on our end. If we see an increased flow, we can contact him, let him know, hey, we've got something going on to make sure you guys don't have an issue that you're not seeing. And I think Adam said you do have some high alarms that you'll get from those lift stations. So if he receives those too, we'll communicate and hopefully not have this issue again. Maybe we can get ahead of it if you do get rainfall to keep it from bypassing or overflow. And I know they also talked about having the vac trucks on site if possible to kind of draw those down when the level gets high. I think all those things combined will probably keep the regulatory agency happy until we can actually find a solution. As long as we're working towards something, and who knows, how long it'll be before you get a response to the letter from that incident. It usually takes them a while. So we already have the ball rolling, and hopefully we'll find the solution, sooner than later on those. I think they're kind of focusing on the area with the initial rainfall where they felt the problem may start. And hopefully they'll get lucky and find that, in a timely manner.
Thank you.
All right, no problem.
So we're doing something good.
Yes.
Anything in your report?
I don't have a report aside
You're
from
good.
the large item we've already discussed.
Right, okay.
I will talk to Adam about some procedure, I guess, for the high alarm versus overflow and
Okay,
the contact and all the good stuff.
Yeah.
We've been talking.
okay, yeah. Sounds good. Anything for old business? Future infrastructure, we have nothing going on. The future right now.
Well, we'll see.
Well, other than
Yeah.
we do. Who knows? Anything new that we need to talk about?
So I guess depending on our finding, and I hate to actually preempt something that it might be as easy or as simple as a cap. And then we fix the problem.
Keep our fingers crossed.
I hope so. Or it might be as a bit of a problem that it's a
Okay.
collapsed section or something that it needs to be replaced, and, so who knows? Yeah.
I know.
The Hagland Road project, and I know that's a storm project, it's not really a sanitary project. The Hagland Road project was actually part of ARPA money, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it was.
It was allocated by the council to the storm for this specific project. After we are looking at the video, which is the camera that we sent through the pipe looks in pretty good condition.
Okay.
There might be some point repairs, not the entire pipe. So there will be some money left from
Okay.
that project that is going back to the council. And the council will have to probably allocate it to some other
Right.
needed project for it, which is.
Could probably.
Years. Right, yeah. So, well, we will see.
Yeah, we'll see, yeah. Yeah.
So my point, I guess, that I just
That's a
wanna
good point,
Yeah.
yeah.
give you a heads up of that Hagler project. That's in a good condition. So
Okay.
that money could be reverted back to something that is very needed and regulatory agencies.
Right. That's a good idea. All right, new business, approval of claims and purchase orders. Okay, second, I guess, that was his motion.
I'll make a motion to, purchase order submitted with 2 or more signatures.
Second, profile.
Alan Millerini,
Yes.
Jennifer McCarr.
Yes. Spending review. Look at everything. You didn't get one? You did mine. Delinquencies and flow reports. Do you have any?
No.
I looked at mine the other day, my full sense of it. All right, go to the order.
I did notice, I just learned this, IDEM requires annual servicing of our generators. I didn't notice until the other day. And then we can get fined up to over $10,000 if we don't do it. Only reason I'm finding this out because our neighbors to the north just got stopped with a hefty fine about their motors and stuff that are sitting at ground. So he sent me the regulations, so just FYI, I'm one, if you have no problem with it, I would like to call around and get our generator service at the station too. So we can avoid that hefty fine and so forth. I won't do anything until the approval, obviously, but I just wanted to be.
Is that the only generator that?
I have the one at the station here, and I have 2 mobiles.
We don't need for the 2 mobiles though, right?
So let me finish reading the whole thing. I was just go to the order. I'm just giving you a heads up.
Yeah.
I want to make sure we get this in the budget for, if they got them, then they may look at us next and then so forth. I want to avoid that.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I mean, look into it and then let us know if it's something we can start doing annually.
yeah. So,
You have anything? Okay, motion.
Any alcohol?
Oh, okay, yeah, we can, yeah, I'm good. Getting a little thirsty though.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second. Roll call, please.
Alan Millerini,
yes.
Jennifer McCark.
Yes. Can we have drinks and chicken nuggets at your house again?